A fine good evening, everyone. This is Patricia, and I am traveling for history. I have a really interesting item for today's presentation, and that is this full-size copper statue right here. It's a hidden bit here in Burlington, Vermont. I am behind the Maltex Building. You may recognize it because I do have a video out on it. I'll put that link in the description below. But this, wow, look at this. So let's take a walk around and then I'll talk about it. Who is this person? I think that might be the question of the moment. It is the copper sculpture of a man operating a drill press. Now the man is certainly in copper. I somehow am inclined to believe this was an actual drill press, though, that was used to make this, because of all the gears and operating lever and all that good stuff. As we come around, you can see all these fabulous details. Look at those fabulous gears. I should mention how much I love industrial things. Wow. I know my rig is in the shadow there. I do apologize for that. It's western facing. I'm facing west, staying facing west right now. And we go ahead and pan in, zoom in on this guy's face. Such attention to detail. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, it is. I'll answer my own question. Machine number 2958. So interesting. Some more gears up there. Let's see. There we go. Pan in for you on that. Because, you know, wow. It takes very little to amaze me, which I consider good. More gears down there and springs. Look at the size of that spring. Not the biggest I've seen, but certainly good size for this. You can see that the table was adjustable right in this area here. And of course the bench and even the drill bit. And then even, I mean, his suspenders are red on here. The boots. Come around back, his belt, suspender and belt, making sure his pants don't fall down. He had what looks like some heavy objects in his pockets. Wrenches are not light, for instance. Coming down, backside of his boots. And look at the cuff. There's a cuff right here on his pants. And a little bit of one on this side as well. Collar of his shirt, his hat. I mean, those red suspenders. Wow, aren't they fun? Alrighty, so who was this guy? Well, if I aim it down here and pan in for you, you see that it says Fred Barrett by Dennis Sparling. Dennis Sparling is a Vermont sculptor. Maybe he was a Vermont sculptor. I don't know anything about him except that he created this amazing piece of art. So I'm going to read you a couple of things about this. This one is from the 7 Days VT newspaper from September 8, 2010 by Amy Lilly. Quote, behind the Maltex Building on Pine Street is a life-size copper sculpture of a man working a drill press. The figure commemorates Fred Barrett, a well-loved employee of Shelburne Shipyard who, according to local legend, never missed a day of work in his 60-year career. That's a 60, folks. 60-year career. You might wonder why Fred Barrett graces the Maltex Building. Well, the Maltex's owner, Rick Davis of Stowe, is delighted to explain why he commissioned the sculpture and had it installed in 1985, just a year after he bought the building. For one thing, he meant it as a tribute to Barrett's amazing work ethic. Davis had worked with Barrett at the shipyards for 4 years following a post-college stint in the Navy. Unquote. I also have for you an absolutely delightful article from the Burlington Free Press about Fred Barrett. This is from a 1960 newspaper. This article was by Ann Della Chiesa, capital C-H-I-E-S-A. That's how you spell her last name. Title, honored by co-workers. Fred Barrett ends 50 years at shipyard, will stay active. She's reporting from Shelburne. Fred J. Barrett completed 50 years, quote-unquote, on deck at Shelburne Harbor Shipyard and Marina Tuesday. But he's not thinking of retiring. Not he. For his father, Luke Barrett, former superintendent of the Shelburne Harbor Shipyards, worked there 55 years. And before that, Fred's grandfather, on his mother's side, Alan Perea, capital P-E-R-I-A, worked there 58 years. Quote, I don't plan to leave yet, said Barrett, carpenter and yard superintendent at the shipyard. I'm 69 and I think I'll be here a few more years. There's too much doing on the lake now. I've never seen it so busy. 50 years ago, boats were used strictly for passenger service. People had no cars, just horse and buggies, so they had to take a boat to go across the lake to Plattsburgh, Montcalm, Chateauguay, or Whitehall. The Delaware and Hudson Railroad ran them all. Then, when cars came in, the ferry services started up. Now, mostly pleasure boats sail the lake. Myself, I don't have one. I'll stick to the old rowboat I built myself. I'm too old for these fancy yachts. Unquote. In honor of his 50th anniversary at the shipyard, he was given a surprise party by his fellow employees. Quote, and it really was a surprise, he said. I walked in and all of a sudden they burst out singing, for he's a jolly good fellow. Then everyone started shaking my hand and clapping me on the back, and I just stood there. I had on my oldest clothes and I hadn't shaved. I told them they were trying to make a sissy out of me at my age. Aside from an interval with the American Expeditionary Force in France during World War I, Barrett has never left Shelburne. He and his wife live in a white house within sight of the shipyard. The porch he built himself from parts of the old Chateauguay sidewheeler, quote-unquote. Along with the party went a gold watch from L.J. Aske, capital A-S-K-E, president of the company, inscribed to, quote, Fred J. Barrett, April 12, 1960, 50 years at Shelburne Harbor, unquote. And with that, a poem which Aske, a former journalism student, composed for the occasion. For 50 years, day out and in summer, winter, fall, and spring, in rain or shine, in sleet or snow, you've worked to make the harbor go. What's more, my friend, you'll always be the captain of the fleet to me. Gosh, said Barrett, if I'd known all this was going to happen today, I'd have... And his voice trailed off. Anyway, this is a real nice watch. First one I've ever worn in my life. Unquote. For 50 years, Barrett's been using an old pocket watch, but it broke just the other day. That ends the Free Press article. So, Fred Barrett spent 60 years working at the shipyard. He outworked his both his grandfather and father. And this beautiful and amazing sculpture honors him. So, fitting place to be here at the Maltex Building. All right, that's really all I wanted to say about this sculpture. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. If you're going to come and look at it, you do not want to park in the lot here. This is a private lot for Maltex tenants only. And if you park here, you'll be towed at your expense. So just park on the street where it's free. All right, so this is Patricia. I've been traveling for history. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.